Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Play, Pause, Rewind, our 128th episode. Apologies for the week delay. We had to go see a movie, and we're busy people with work and stuff. Niles, how have you been the last 3 weeks since our previous episode?
Oh, good as always. Happy to be here. Happy to always be on this show and happy to be talking about some movies. But yes, staying very busy. And relevant to today's episode as well. Planning wedding stuff, and it's they don't lie. They don't lie when they tell you that it's like, yeah, it takes up a lot of your time, and boy does it. So that makes my life a little busy right now, but I'm happy. And in my little corner of the world, as always, I'm just perfectly content. How about you, Dylan? How are you?
Yeah, doing okay. Hanging in there, staying busy as always. Stretched a little thin, but working on lots of fun, creative projects, which will keep maybe more on the down low for now. I can't remember if I've talked about it on the show, but teasing. I'm working on something. And I'm excited about it. But we are not here to talk about that yet, nor are we here to talk about the world this week. I think we can skip that for this episode. We're going to talk about a movie. We're going to talk about a movie that touches on some of the issues that we deal with in the real world on a routine basis, and that movie is The Drama. Niles, you want to run through a little bit high-level summary of The Drama?
Absolutely. So The Drama is a 2026 dramatic film about a young, happily engaged couple, Emma and Charlie, living in Boston during their wedding week, and just days before the wedding, their relationship is unexpectedly put to the test by a stunning personal revelation that threatens to derail everything. Will this unveiled secret cause their relationship to fall apart, or will it survive the drama? The Drama is written and directed by Christopher Borgli. Stars Robert Pattinson and Zendaya alongside Alana Haim, Mahmoudou Athey, Haley Gates, Zoe Winters, and several others. Dylan, what are your initial thoughts on The Drama?
I thought this movie was excellent. It's and one thing, it won't come up much in our conversation due to what we're talking about in a lot of it, but like this movie, it's a drama, but it's comedy as well. It's very darkly funny, and it has a lot of wit to it. I think the filmmaking is very creative. The central conflict is very rich and engaging. Everyone is great in it, but obviously the film is centered around the performances of Zendaya and Robert Pattinson. They both crush what I would say are pretty layered performances. And it's a very honest and human film, I think. I would really, really recommend it. I would, if you like, trigger warning for the material of the film. I won't say it here in non-spoilers, but worth looking into if you feel the need to do that. But if you don't, I would go in blind. I didn't know anything about this movie other than the cast, and I was taken on a very enjoyable and immensely stressful ride, and I did not expect this movie to be about what it was. So those are my sort of non-spoiler thoughts. What about you, Niles?
Yeah, I mean, this film hits close to home right now for me this week because, like I alluded to at the top, I'm planning my own wedding right now. And so all these minute details that they cover in the film, it's like it kind of gives me PTSD. But, obviously not post. I'm still in it. So it's just like, oh, God, come on. Thank you, Christopher.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me that I still need to book a caterer and a DJ and that I still need to figure out floral arrangements and all these other things. So thank you. I really needed that.
Did you get the save the dates done, or are you still working on that?
That is this week. We are getting that done this week. I don't care. It's happening.
To the viewers and listeners, part of the reason we're late is that he couldn't see the movie on time on opening night because they were working on wedding stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and we just need to get those save the dates out, but it's just like, okay, got to get the contact information, got to put it in the wedding registry thing, but then you got to text people and be like, hey, what's your email address, and like, what's your actual physical address, because we may want to send physical invites. It's like, it's a whole thing. It's, yeah, we still haven't gotten those invites sent, but we're doing it this week.
This is why people in the 80s had Rolodexes.
Exactly. Yeah, in our modern era, I could use a Rolodex, but it's just my phone. And but putting all that aside, my own wedding, putting that aside, I thought that the drama was exceptional, like you, Dylan. I thought that this movie was great.
Thank you.
And yes, and you were exceptional as well. I did not know what to expect going into this. I went in blind, just like you, and I'm so glad I did, because I think the less that you know about the drama going into this film, the better. And I kind of say that with most modern films. Like, I feel like trailers just reveal too much these days, but like, you kind of get a teased in the trailer of like, Emma has this secret that she reveals, and it's truly surprising, and you're like, what could it be, what could it be, what could it be? But you never get it until you get into the theater, and it's worth it. It's worth that wait and just that anticipation. And I think that reveal leads to an incredibly relevant conversation to our modern American culture, which we will get to in spoilers. So, but if you have not seen the movie and you're listening, I would recommend leaving now and going and watching the movie and coming back for spoilers, because we don't want to give it away. It's really good. And what I will say also, great performances all around. You know, Zendaya is fantastic. Robert Pattinson's fantastic. All the other players are really great in this film too. And I really like the structure of it, especially the visuals, how they kind of use them for the storytelling purposes. It feels like quick flashbacks or like paranoid thoughts. Like, they're very intentional with all the shots and details. And one other thing I'll say before we go into spoilers is that this movie is a fascinating exploration of empathy, judgment, and hypocrisy.
I agree. Shall we hop over into spoilers?
Yes. Spoilers time.
So, just right at the jump, trigger warning, gun violence, mass shootings, school shootings. If you are not comfortable hearing a discussion about those topics, totally understandable for you to leave. We'll see you in the next episode. No harm, no foul. That's totally valid. We live in America as well. It's a traumatic subject matter. That being said, maybe let's talk about the revelation. Basically, about this mass shooting that wasn't. At sort of at the start of the film, or towards the beginning of the film, Emma, Charlie, and their two friends, Rachel and Mike, are sort of sampling desserts and wines for the wedding. Feels like a little close to the wedding to still be doing that, but maybe that's not true. I don't know. But they're having a good time. They're getting drunk. They're kind of pushing the limits of what they're supposed to be allowed to do at this event. And Rachel sort of brings up the subject matter. Well, she kind of alludes to something Mike had told her in the past, and he's not thrilled about it. Right? He's like, "Come on, we were never going to talk about the dog thing." And then it leads to a conversation about what's the worst thing you've ever done, and they go around the circle. Emma's is she planned a school shooting, and that's not taken very well by the table. But go for it.
Yes. Yeah, she obviously did not go through with it. She just planned it. But the revelation, needless to say, fractures her friendship with Rachel, and it really damages her relationship with Charlie here. It is a big revelation, It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, Charlie, he is just utterly shocked by this revelation, about the secret. He kind of starts to become distant. He seems to struggle with it a lot too, and he kind of begins to question if he truly knows Emma as a person. Like, this is kind of a big thing, a big secret. They've been together for years, and all of a sudden she reveals it now, days before the wedding. It's like kind of significant, and he's like throughout the movie, he's really grappling with this revelation. He, seems to be asking himself, like, is she a sociopath? Is she kind of crazy? Like, is this the right
Mm-hmm.
decision? And he's even like editing his wedding speech at one point, which is just like
Yeah.
so heartfelt. It's a great wedding speech. Like, his friend Mike was crying when he was reading it to him, and he starts editing it to remove mentions of Emma being empathetic or
Mm-hmm.
kind, because he's like, I don't believe that anymore. I don't know what to believe about this woman. And like, he seems to be understanding at times, but it seems like he just really can't get over it. Like, every time that she gives him more information, he's like, well, tell me why you didn't do it. Why did you, like, he's always got like another question. He fixates on it, and he's trying to grapple with
Mm-hmm.
this truth. um, and then he like tries to get an outside opinion from a coworker, and feeling
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed by emotion, he commits some light infidelity. uh, Light's a big word there. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, it's in Charlie. It's I think Charlie's reaction, and I know you have some more thoughts on this, but
Yeah.
he's I think aside from the cheating with the coworker thing, I think a lot of his the way he processes this is pretty reasonable and
Yeah.
coming from a place of empathy. Like he still is his sort of like space here is he still loves her and wants
Mm-hmm.
to continue their relationship, but he is trying to reconcile the person he knows with this horrible you know contemplation of an unthinkable thing, right? And
Yes.
he's trying to sort of like bridge the gap a little bit. um Part of the problem in his execution is that I think he's not extending the proper empathy to Emma and how these questions might make her feel like this is obviously a very dark place in her life. She chose to leave it behind. She doesn't want to dredge it back up because it's not who she is anymore. But it's like he's, I think, doing his best. And had this revelation not come mere days before they're supposed to get married, I think it probably wouldn't have spiraled as out of control for him as it does, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, 100%. Like, if she told him this like 3 months before the wedding,
mhm,
totally different situation.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like the timing, and like, I think it's the honesty thing that really kind of get to him.
Mhm.
And of the three that we who learn about Emma's secret, yeah, I think Charlie is kind of the easiest to empathize with, right?
Mhm.
I would I would think so.
Yeah, well cuz he's trying to he doesn't write her off. Like he doesn't give up on
Mm-hmm.
her as a person. Mike we get the least from in the movie, I would say, but he's kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of fucking weird, man. But Rachel,
Yeah.
in contrast, like goes buck wild with it, right? And we'll talk about her more in a second. But yeah, like Charlie's trying. He's doing. He was not equipped for this moment, but he's doing
Yep.
his best. And I think too, it's like the introduction we get to Charlie at the beginning is the scene where they first meet, and
Mm-hmm.
it's what's interesting about that is like the way he goes about it. It's kind of fucking weird, right? It's a little odd.
Yeah.
It's just like
Mm-hmm.
he sees a pretty girl sitting reading a book, and he's just kind of like sitting there, and he goes up when she goes to refill her coffee. He takes a picture of her book, goes back, looks up, and then pretends to have read it so he can talk to her. And then he eventually comes clean on the first date, and it's like it becomes a cute story, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's like I think it's the it's like all in the perception of it or how you click with the other person, because that same set of actions could come off as very alarming to someone who was not interested in him as well, right? And
Oh, absolutely.
so it's
Mm-hmm.
like this is not on the same level of planning a mass shooting, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's not trying to say that, but it's like we get to see the sort of like nuances in all of these people and the fact that none of them is a squeaky clean individual, right? And Charlie is probably the closest to it, but or
Mm-hmm.
maybe ultimately Emma is actually based on what she actually did in her life, but we'll talk about that more later. But yeah, any more thoughts on Charlie and his sort of reaction, I guess?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there too, and I completely forgot about their meet cute story because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that is kind of like this initial moment of dishonesty,
Mm-hmm.
and lying and not being entirely truthful. But they're kind of like, start over. Let's just start over, and they make it work. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of an interesting detail. So thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, like I think Charlie, he is trying overall, but like I think over the course of the film, he just really starts to fall apart, and he, yeah, just kind of really struggles to cope with this revelation. It kind of breaks him internally,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, yeah, I think he is trying to be empathetic, but like he's also, uh, yeah, incredibly judgmental at the same
Mm-hmm.
time too. But
Yep.
not as judgmental as Rachel, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Whew, Rachel's crazy, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
she instantly, like on a dime, becomes enraged by this news at dinner. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
she gets so angry, and you can kind of understand why, but like her whole thing is like she's been personally affected by
Mm-hmm.
some form of mass shooting or gun violence in the past. Like a similar event paralyzed her sister from
Her
the
cousin,
waist
I think,
down.
but yeah.
Yeah, cousin, excuse me, cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and she just gets really mad at dinner. She starts to ghost Emma like afterwards. Like they're kind of
Mm-hmm.
working together on like some project between like their two companies, and she's just like
Right.
being non-responsive. Like she's not
Mm-hmm.
even, she even starts to kind of back out from being the maid of honor in the wedding,
Yeah.
which is like crazy to begin with because you committed to that girl. Come on. But
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
Charlie goes over to meet with her and Mike in person to convince her like halfway through the
Mm-hmm.
movie, follow through, be the maid of honor. But she can't really bring herself to forgive Emma or really be her friend again, even though she
Mm-hmm.
fulfills her wedding duties. She really delivers this shady maid of honor speech at the wedding
Mm-hmm.
that's just like really not cool.
Yeah, the vibes are fucked after that speech, I would say. But it's
Yes.
like we'll talk about Rachel in more detail too. But I think what's interesting too is like it's not her sister; it's her cousin. And then
Yeah.
I think it's even the detail. I can't remember what she says, but Charlie's like, "Are you?" Because she's like, "Oh, I have to ask my cousin if I can even go to this wedding anymore." And then Charlie's like, "Are y'all close? Like, are you even? Would she even have a say in that?" And it like I
Yeah.
kind of seemed like no. Am I remembering that correctly? Like they're not really that close, personally.
Yeah, I don't think they're as close as she likes to play. You know, like I
Yeah,
think that she's kind of more like a, she likes to lean on that story of her cousin
hmm
as kind of a crutch
for
or
her
like an excuse
outrage.
here. Yeah, yeah, for her
Yeah,
outrage, it's like it's kind of this um yeah, this yeah, I don't think they were close. I think it's just kind
yeah,
of like a her own personal anecdote or like excuse.
yeah. And also, it's like another element of this is again like we have a whole section on Rachel and how this movie is kind of an exploration of hypocrisy and empathy, but
Hmm.
and like the game that they played that brought out this revelation was something she pushed on the table. Um,
Yep.
and also the way she pushed it on the table was by sort of dropping a hint at something about her husband that they had already agreed they wouldn't talk about again because they had
Yeah.
done this game before. And by pressuring him to share his story, then she got everyone to share their stories, or Mike said that or something. But it's like, that's not a question you need to ask people.
Yeah.
I I have more thoughts on this later in the show, but I'm like, I don't meet someone and immediately go like, I wonder what's the worst thing they ever did, and I want to hear about it. I don't really like unless it's affecting you right now and who you are. I don't. That's not my business. It's
Hmm.
like
Exactly.
that is a question that is only destined to lead to disaster in a social situation, right? Because
100%.
maybe someone had a really dark time in their life and they actually did something not great. Maybe the worst thing someone ever did isn't a funny, cute little story. Maybe it's actually kind of fucked up. And you don't need to know about that. You don't know that person. You know who they are now. That's
Mm-hmm. Yeah, though it's a not an appropriate question for friends. I think in general, I don't think it's a good question to ask. Yeah, I don't
no,
need it.
I don't like
But
it. I think that's fuck vibes.
yeah, no, it totally messes up the vibes in the conversation. It's like, okay, time to go home. The Uber's 3 minutes away.
Oh god, that was
And
so
yeah,
funny. That was such
exactly.
a.
Yeah, there's like exactly that's like one of those great little brief moments of like comedic
hmm
brilliance where it's just like awkward. They're standing there like in the hallway while Emma's throwing up, just waiting
Yep.
for the Uber. I thought
Yep.
that was great. And there's little moments like that throughout, but
hmm
um, I think yeah, let's talk about Emma's secret for a little bit. This revelation,
hmm
the elephant in the room here. Uh, mass shootings are obviously horrific, terrible
hmm
events. And on the one hand, you can understand Rachel's anger.
Yeah.
Mass shootings have so many innocent victims, uh, even beyond those who are maimed or killed.
hmm
Friends and
Yep.
families suffer emotionally
hmm
too, and uh, it leaves a hole in their lives and one that they will never really fill or recover from. And
hmm
if you've been personally affected by a mass shooting, I think you'll forever kind of struggle with this question of why. Why do they do it, and
hmm
why do I feel this pain? What was the
Right.
purpose behind all of this pain? Like you'll kind of search for meaning in it or like a reason, an answer, something that kind of makes you feel better about everything like that. And so they're obviously terrible things. On the other hand, Emma did not go through with the plan. She
hmm
made the plan, but she did not do anything. She stopped. She didn't go through the plan. And so I think you can understand her perspective really well. And I think the visual storytelling helps with that too, because we get a lot of these flashbacks to her in high school, middle school
Right.
era. And we can tell that she's struggling with depression, with identity
hmm
issues. She feels
Yeah.
isolated. She feels
hmm
ostracized by her classmates. She feels like an outcast. And
Right.
they didn't really explicitly say this, but her dad's in the military. So I kind of
Mm.
assume that she moved around a lot growing up.
Right.
So it's like harder to make friends. It's harder to build a community when you're just probably going to leave in 2 months or in like a year
hmm
or something like that.
Right. hmm
Um, and yeah, at the end of the day, she decided not to go through with the plan that she had because there was another mass shooting that took place that day. It's like, yes, that's a great, or not a great, it's a coincidence that stops her from going through
hmm
with the plan. And that's really what, like, kind of changed her life
Yeah.
because she starts to see all the grief around her, all the pain that the community felt when she's looking
hmm
at her classmates. They're all crying. They're all upset by this event because they lost a classmate. And she realizes, I think, in those flashbacks, you really do see the realization. It dawns on her, like, how wrong she was to have that
hmm
plan in the first place. And then this leads to her building a stronger community around herself and even
Yeah.
becoming a gun violence prevention advocate, which I think is great.
Exactly. And I think too, because it's kind of presented, at least in Charlie's perspective, like as a doc against her, that she really only didn't go through with it because there was another shooting that day, right? And I think in her initial response is, well, I won't get the notoriety for this if there
Yes.
was a second. Like, I think that was the initial thought. And then she sort of starts to see all the sorrow and then falls into this sort of activism thing afterward.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it like, and the reason I call out that Charlie sort of sees that as like a knock against her, um, and why I think that's actually the wrong instinct is that like that's how life works, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's a random little detail or something like critical elsewhere that sort of snaps you back into focus and sets you on the right path. No one can control what those things are, but it's like you're waking up out of a trance and you suddenly like see the proper road in front of you or something like that. It like
Right.
like life is very full of coincidences, and
Yes.
this coincidence happened at a critical moment for her that changed her into becoming a better and more full person. Like, why would we take that away from someone, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
it's I don't know. I just think that's a very like natural and human presentation on how someone who is on a dark path can be sort of snapped back into the light.
Absolutely. And I think it's very honest. Like it's a very
Mm-hmm.
honest depiction, and I think we can clearly see that Emma changed and
Yeah.
became a much more sympathetic, empathetic person after that event. Um, and like, you know, I can I can relate to her on like the feelings from like high school, because there's definitely periods in my adolescence and youth where it's like I felt alone or I felt
Mm-hmm.
kind of depressed. My
Yeah.
family moved and I had to rebuild a
Mm-hmm.
community, and that stuff is tough, and it's really hard to grapple with kinds of those emotions when you're feeling
Mm-hmm.
isolated and alone. So it's like I'm not trying to make excuses for anybody, but it's like I can understand Rachel's or Emma's headspace at the
Yeah.
time, and I can clearly see that she's changed in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's people like Rachel who don't fully believe that people can change or become
Yeah.
better, or that once Emma kind of reveals that, her whole opinion of Emma
Mm-hmm.
changes on a dime.
Yeah. And just to piggyback off of what you were saying about the like loneliness stuff growing up too, I think,
Yes.
and this is different but a parallel. It's like it's the same way people who are in adolescence and struggling to like either make friends or like for young like straight guys trying to talk to girls and having a really tough time of it when they're that age. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's and because she talks about how she found this like online sort of community. She liked the culture and the aesthetic of it. She thought it was really cool. It's like that's how like young kids today are falling down the pipeline online, right, into the manosphere and all those places like that. It's like
Yep.
they find people through the algorithm really who are affirming sort of what they already feel, sort of zeroing in on their insecurities and telling you it's like, no, 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 it's not you, it's them. Just like, listen to me, we got you. And then they're shoving these like kids who are not emotionally mature sometimes enough to recognize what's happening here into really hateful ideologies. And a lot of these school shooters we see in America in real life are disaffected white young men,
Mm-hmm.
which is in contrast to Emma in this movie. But it's like people who are feeling like isolated by one thing or another find their ways into these online communities. And I mean, like the manosphere, the incel people, the
Yes.
like doomer type of people, like they're all very, very dangerous groups that young disaffected people find themselves in. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it takes something in real life to snap them out of it. Like you're not going to get snapped out of it if you're just in that echo chamber, in that ecosystem on the internet at home alone.
Mm-hmm. 100%. Totally agree. And I fully believe um, that Rachel and Charlie were more in the wrong in this movie than Emma was.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not trying to make excuses for anything, but Emma went through a dark period in her life where she felt incredibly depressed, alone, harassed by her classmates, and over time, she found a way to overcome her darkness and become a larger part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, Rachel overreacts from the get go, playing the victim, leaning on her cousin as an excuse to be angry towards Emma, to justify her anger. And I think
Mm-hmm.
to an extent, Rachel's actions are incredibly flawed and hypocritical
Yeah.
here. She
Mm-hmm.
takes no responsibility for her own actions and behaviors. And we know what her worst thing is that she did at that table. She said it very
Mm-hmm.
clearly. She um, locked a child in a closet in the woods. Was that right? Like just like
I think it was
abandoned
like an
him.
abandoned RV or something, and she
Yeah,
locked him in the closet of the RV. Yeah.
that's what it was. Yes, she locked him in the closet of the RV because she didn't like him, and then left and didn't tell anybody. Um, it was an impulse for sure, but Rachel literally could have killed that kid in the woods. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if the search party never found him, she never told anybody, that kid would have died. But she just kind of shrugs it off. She's like, "Oh, I was a child, I was younger, and he didn't really die. Nothing happened." But she doesn't give that same reasoning, that same empathy to Emma. Like Emma and
Mm-hmm.
everybody else is kind of empathetic and understanding. They're not very judgmental for this thing, but then she's like totally turns on Emma as just like completely the opposite. Is just like,
Mm-hmm.
how dare you even have the idea of planning a mass shooting? You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's complete. She just flips.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Charlie does overreact as well because he kind of just fixates on this issue and he fixates. No answer that she gives him is like good enough. Like, yes, she should have told him sooner, but
Mm-hmm.
like I just feel like he can't move past it. You know, he dwells on it at all hours of the day.
Right. And like I think it's fair for him to sort of have a little bit of a freak out,
Mm-hmm.
the for a time. It's like, oh, do I really know this person? Like I've known her for a couple years. Nothing like this has ever come up. This is kind of shocking. This is freaking me out a little bit, but it's, you know, him I get more than the others, but it's like,
Yes.
but at the same time, he he really lets himself spiral out of control as the
Mm-hmm.
film goes on. But I think the conflict of this film is very rich and textured in how it approaches how we judge people for their past actions, or in this case, even inactions, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this ties into American society specifically, right? Like, and it goes back to our roots. It's like the Puritans, right? You know, they sucked. They thought like experiencing joy and happiness was kind of sinful, so they were just always working, very punitive. They did the witch hunts, all that stuff. But like specifically in American society, like we are very punitive and judgmental, and we have this
Yeah.
unfortunate tendency to judge people um eternally by their weakest or darkest moments. And you can see this in how people think about and talk about the criminal justice system, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
on paper, the way our justice system is supposed to work is if you do a crime, you are tried for the crime, you are given a sentence, you carry out the sentence, and you're supposed to be rehabilitated and sent back out into society, right? But when people talk about criminals, especially violent offenders, no one gives them, not no one, most people do not give them, the space for redemption, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you killed someone, you are forever a murderer. Um,
Yes.
Stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, true, but also people are more than that. Maybe there was context that you don't understand to this conflict. Also, the justice system gets shit wrong. Sometimes people are convicted for things they didn't commit. And also,
Absolutely.
even in cases like that where new evidence comes to light, people are acquitted after years being in prison. Oh, they still can't get a fucking job because they have the criminal record, right? They were in
Yep.
prison. They're like, oh, what's this 20-year gap in your career history? It's like, oh, I was in prison. I was wrongfully convicted of murdering someone. And they're like, oh, we're going to have to go with another candidate. I'm sorry. It's like, that is a very core tenet of American society, I think. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel that for Rachel, Emma became a school shooter after this revelation. It didn't matter that Emma
Mm-hmm.
didn't do it. It didn't matter that she dove into gun control activism afterwards, like being pulled back from the brink of doing something unspeakable. Like Emma thought about doing something, so that's who she is forever. And I think it's telling that it is Rachel who is the most vicious to her after this revelation because of what you talked about. Like, one, she has a personal connection via her cousin. The closeness of that
Yeah.
relationship, you know, is debatable, but that's fair, right? In the short term, like to have a visceral reaction to something that someone you love was affected by. Fair enough. But two, Rachel actually did something pretty horrible herself, right? And she
Mm-hmm.
never faced consequences for it at all.
Yep.
And I think there is a fair distinction you can draw here. It's like Rachel's action was impulsive and Emma's was premeditated. But Rachel's action was an action. Emma's never materialized into one. And also,
Mm-hmm.
Rachel had an opportunity to resolve her action and chose not to.
Mm-hmm.
Like that like that's the smaller revelation of this scene. It's like one, Charlie, I guess, didn't do anything. He said he maybe cyberbullied someone once. He doesn't really remember. Seems like he was just a nice guy. You know, he didn't really do anything bad. Mike's worst thing ever is like the best case scenario for this game. He did something that's like, yeah, dude, that's fucked up, but it's funny. There was a little dog in an alley. It was trying to bite at them, and he used his ex-girlfriend as a human shield to get through the alley. Not cool, but it makes for a good story. And, you know, she's the ex, not the girlfriend, so, you know, laugh about it. Whatever.
It's funny.
Rachel's, she locked a child. I mean, she was a child, but she locked a kid that she described as slow in the closet of an RV for for no reason. And then
for no reason.
And then panicked when he started screaming at being locked in a closet, and then she left him. And yeah, they had to get a search party for the kid. They eventually found him, but it's not like she helped. She didn't come clean. And then when everybody else is like, but like, you would have, right? Like if they couldn't find him, you would have said something. She's like, oh yeah, for sure. And it's like, you know, I don't believe you. I think you're fucking lying. I genuinely do, because the reason she didn't say anything at first was she was scared. And the longer you let that go on, scared of getting in trouble, the longer you let that go on, the more fucking trouble you're gonna get in. So she wasn't gonna come clean.
She was never gonna come clean.
And she did. It's like based on her demeanor, she never reflected on that. She didn't grow from that experience. Like Emma did reflect and changed her perspective and like took concrete action to make amends for like what she almost did, you know. And I think my overall point with this is that often the most judgmental people when it comes to the moral failings of others are those who themselves have an ugly or cruel streak. I think this is actually from the Bible. I think it might be from like New Testament Bible, but it's like before considering removing like the splinter from another's eye, remove the log from yours. I think that's the Bible. I don't remember though. But,
I mean, I like that. That sounds biblical to me.
Yeah, it's like take care of your own shit. But
adjust your mask before you adjust the child's mask. Yeah.
But the main contrast, like to be examined between these two, because like Charlie didn't really have anything and Mike didn't really have anything. Like that's a potentially relationship ending dick move that Mike did. It probably did end that relationship, but nothing is on this level. Like on the one hand, Emma planned to do something unspeakable, didn't, and learned from the mistake, grew into being someone who does good and became a like full and positive person, having a good impact on the world. On the other hand, we have Rachel, who actually did something horrible, never owned up to it, and grew into someone who doesn't have any interest in recognizing growth in others. To build on that, like you alluded to earlier, she allows it to interfere in like a professional environment. Emma recommended her for this gig for work, and then Rachel ghosts the company and isn't doing the job. So Emma's like, okay, I guess she hasn't answered 3 of your emails. I guess we got to go with someone else. And then Rachel gets mad about that too. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
I know.
You weren't answering your email at work. It's a work thing.
Right? It's like, come on. Like, do
fuck
your
did you think
job.
was going to happen?
Yeah, right. Like, even if that happened to me, I would still follow through on the professional commitment, you know?
Or I would send an email saying I no longer, like, if something has come up, I can no longer do this. Like, be professional in the professional setting.
Yeah. Well, man, like, I just gotta say too, like those actors who played Mike and Rachel, fantastic job, because man, she really felt like overbearing and like the dominant one in their relationship, like kind of teetering on just like absolute bitch Karen mode, you know, all the time. And Mike's just kind of like, I'm just trying to have a good time and be a good person and a good husband.
Yeah, well, and it's like, yeah, because he was uncomfortable with his story getting put out there, right? And then she's the one who like forces him to tell it and then forces everybody to tell it. And then Mike is kind of, he's not he doesn't have a spine. He doesn't do anything to help anybody, but he's not really. He's just like, yeah, that's fucked up. I don't have anything else to say. That's kind of like his. That's kind of where he lands. It seems like.
Yeah. Like I think he understands how bad it is, but he's like I think he is in a similar boat as Charlie where he's like more understanding of
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
than Rachel, obviously. And Charlie has this really great line in the film that I'm not going to get right. So I'm just going to say it
Mm-hmm.
how I think it is. Um, but I thought the line was very true and objective because there are likely hundreds, if not thousands, of people every day
Mm-hmm.
who have thought about committing some act of gun violence, whether that's a mass shooting or,
Mm-hmm.
suicide or anything else like that. Like people think about this every day, whether you like it or not. Like you can't see into other people's minds.
Yeah.
It's happening. I
Well, and
guarantee you.
based on how many shootings, and I think he says this in the movie, like how many shootings happen in America, like statistically, it is impossible that is not the case. Like it, based on how many people
Yes.
actually do it, there are 100 more who are thinking about it, or 1,000 more who are thinking about it. It's fucking horrifying and a terrifying reality, but that
Yeah.
is the country we live in. And until we do something about gun control, gun legislation, it's not going to fucking change. So I guess we
Mm-hmm.
are getting a little political in this episode. Kind of hard to avoid with this, but
A little bit. Yeah. And I
yeah,
think like the movie's not really about gun control at the end of the
right.
day, but you're absolutely right. That is kind of the answer here. But, there's so many people, even today, who have probably thought about committing some act of gun violence, but for
Mm-hmm.
one reason or another, they didn't follow through on it. And who knows what that reason was, but they didn't do it. And
Mm-hmm.
those people do not tell other people about those thoughts or plans because they know how people would react. They know
Right.
people would judge them. They know people would immediately like color their perception of that person would change entirely. Just like we were talking about with like prison. It's like as soon as you
Mm-hmm.
say, I've been in prison, it's like, oh yeah, I don't really trust you anymore, kind of vibe. And that's
Mm-hmm.
exactly how people would react if you told them those things. And I think that perspective is very honest about the world and people. And yes, Rachel, I think it's a culture issue, but that's not the conversation we're having today.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think it's a key element that Charlie, the one who tries the most to empathize
Mm-hmm.
with Emma's sort of situation here, isn't American, and is able to identify the element, the problem in American culture that would lead a teenager to do something or to think about doing something like this. And Mike and Rachel refuse to engage on that level because they are engrossed in the culture. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And yeah, like I said, gun violence is a prevalent theme in this movie, but it's not the focus. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that this revelation, it also opens the door to people like us, to moviegoers, to the audience in general, to have kind of this wider conversation about gun violence and gun violence prevention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is factual that gun violence, more often in suicide, it's often an impulsive decision.
Mm-hmm.
Like when people are contemplating something like self harm or suicide, it's usually very impulsive, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of this feeling that like dissipates after 10 minutes or so. This isn't in
Mm-hmm.
every case. This is just kind of like in general, if you can kind of have that buffer of like 10 minutes to cool off or just like focus on something else, you'll feel better and you probably
Mm-hmm.
won't go through with the act, right? And that's why
Yeah.
things like gun boxes, safe storage units, those kinds of
Mm-hmm.
things, gun locks, are so important because it takes longer for people to access their firearms, giving them more time to contemplate their decisions.
Yeah.
And I'm not an expert on mass shootings, and I know that you need some planning for those kinds of events,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But I also feel that the decision to harm others is often more of kind of this fantasy
Mm-hmm.
or this impulse rather than anything else. And I'm sure like once you pull that trigger and it happens, it's like, oh shit, I've totally fucked up my life. Everything's fucked, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and like a lot of the mass shooters attempt suicide by cop after doing something like
Yes.
this, right? Um, and like going back to the sort of like suicide element of it and the impulsive nature of that decision, I think like something I've learned just from people sharing their perspectives as the new season of The Pit has been airing, actually, because
Mm-hmm.
in a main through line of this season is Dr. Robbie, the main character, is very much going through suicidal ideation throughout the entire
Yes.
season. And what people have commented on about how well the show writes this is that I forget. I wish I like saved the people's names who say things that I think are smart
Mm-hmm.
for when we talk about them
Next
on the show.
time.
But someone was like, the way they're writing him this season is so perfect because what's tragic is he hasn't decided to kill himself. Every time he lashes out or hints at what he's doing is a cry for help. It's like extending a hand for someone to help him,
Yes.
probably because it is a terrifying thing to think about and a permanent end to you. And that is probably like the ultimate decision to act on it, I'm sure, is very impulsive and probably done quickly in a lot of cases to just do it before you second guess yourself. So like the decision is abrupt, but the ideation itself probably not. Probably over
Mm-hmm.
a much longer period of time. Um,
Yes.
but yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about relationship dynamics and secrets. I don't want to dwell too long on this kind of question here, but if it's like,
Hmm.
I think you have to talk about it briefly because this movie, plenty of couples are going to see it.
Hmm.
So it's like, what if your romantic partner, whom you've known for years, suddenly reveals a terrible secret like this? Like,
Hmm.
how would it alter the way you perceive them, and how would it affect your feelings for them? And I think everyone kind of has like this line in the sand that they're like,
Hmm.
we'll never cross this. Like, I can't deal with that. And I feel like, animal cruelty is one thing for sure for me.
Hmm.
If that happens, throw that person to the curb, get them out of my life,
Hmm.
But it's like, um, I feel like that is just kind of a thing that people will be asking themselves, or it's like this movie forces you to like question that. Like, how would your perception change
Hmm.
with this kind of dramatic reveal in a way?
Yeah, I mean, for me, if I'm being totally honest, what's the worst thing you've ever done just isn't something I would ever ask someone.
Yep.
I
Same.
like you, if I'm like out on a date and the girl I'm with like kicks a dog or something, yeah, fuck her. I like bye. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go and like, have you ever kicked a dog? Because I would, like, if the answer was yeah, when I was a teenager I used to like kick dogs all the time, I'd be like, I would probably react in a similar way to
Yeah. What
Charlie
the
in this
fuck?
movie. But it's like it's but then you run into the conflict of like, okay, this person did this at this time, I know this person now I'm trying to reconcile these two things together,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
like I say this about the world of politics a lot, and people who like sort of move to the left after being right wingers for a period of time or something like that. But the way I say it is, I don't care what you did 5 years ago. I don't care what you did 5 months ago. I don't really even care what you were doing 5 weeks ago. I care what you're doing now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that's a very privileged perspective. I understand that. But in general, I want to welcome people who are doing the work to be better. I and like, if I meet someone and they're working on themselves and improving and like trying to be a better person, I'm gonna give credit for that. Uh,
Yeah.
and like, I'm just more interested in who someone is today than the mistakes they've made in their past. Everybody has done or thought of doing something they are not proud of and wouldn't do now. I don't need to know their dirty little secrets. Not my business. And yeah, that's just kind of how I think of it. And I think also, depending on the offense in question, sometimes redemption and atonement can be done in private. Emma is
Yes.
not a worse person because she atoned for something privately that she never actually acted on, right? I think in some ways she's a better person for having done that work on herself. I and there's a quote in Skyrim, actually, and it was a quote that stuck with me, and it stuck with a lot of people. Um, and it made a lot of people mad at the quest design of this game because there's a basically like you're working with this faction, right? They're like dragon hunters, and you get to the top of this
Mm-hmm.
mountain, this group of people you've been working with, and you find out, oh my god, their like leader is a dragon, and in the past he did a whole lot of fucked up stuff, and the guys you're working with are like, well, I mean, like I get it. He's on our side now. That's awesome. But he did all this bad stuff in the past, so we need you to kill him. And it's
Mm-hmm.
and you go talk to him. You can have a conversation. And the question he asks, I think I'm getting the quote right, but it may be slightly wrong. And I played this game in 2011, so it's been a long time, but it stuck with me for 15 years.
Yeah.
Right? But he's like, what is more noble, to be born good or to become good by like working to overcome your evil nature? And
Mm.
I never finished the quest line because you go back to talk to those other guys, and it's an RPG, and there is no option to like talk them down from killing this guy. So I'm just like, you know what? Not gonna do this for you. I'm just gonna forget about you as characters and never see you again. And but it kind
Okay.
of reminds me of that a little bit. It's like, yeah, you can't hold what people do against them for. I mean, you can if you're the one who's personally wronged. I think no,
Sure.
you don't owe anyone forgiveness for something, for harm they've done to you, right? But in general, in the world, if especially like trying to build a progressive coalition movement here in America and the world, it's like, yeah, we're gonna have to cut people a little slack on their past indiscretions if we're trying to build our numbers. That's what growing a movement is, like definitionally,
Mm-hmm.
right? So.
Oh yeah, I agree, and I think it's like what we say all the time is like people are like the sum of all their mistakes, of all their
Mm-hmm.
decisions. Like everything that you've done in your life has made you the person you are today. Like
Yes.
from infancy to where you are now, every
Mm-hmm.
single decision. I mean, not every single decision makes you into the person. Like, well, yeah, for a year there in elementary school, I was just drinking chocolate milk. That was a personal decision, but that doesn't really impact who I am today, But there are these like smaller things, or like these
Mm-hmm.
kind of, or these critical inflection points. I
Inflection points.
suppose
Yeah.
is the
Mm-hmm.
best way to
Yeah.
say it. These mistakes, these lessons. That's what makes you into the person you are today,
Mm-hmm.
and that is absolutely true for Emma and Charlie and Rachel and Mike in this
Yep.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
I will also say before we go into our next section on like creative choices and other things,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to talk quickly about these themes that we've been circling around. Just
Mm-hmm.
nail down this point a little bit more: is empathy, judgment, and hypocrisy. I feel like these are very prevalent themes
Mm-hmm.
throughout the movie, and I feel like this film is a fascinating exploration of those things.
Yep.
And it's like what we've been saying for like the entire episode here, is that so many people are quick to judge without having all the information or the facts.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel judges Emma almost immediately, and she ignores the relevant information and shows no
Mm-hmm.
empathy for Emma and her situation. Even though Rachel's thing is arguably worse, she's acting very hypocritical in this kinds of situation here.
Mm-hmm.
She could have killed that kid, but she doesn't show that same empathy to Emma that she received from Emma.
Yeah.
Charlie is also a little bit quick to judgment, but he does kind of try to be empathetic, and he struggles with that. But I was thinking a lot about the DJ as well.
I'm
Within
glad
this
you brought
story
up the
too.
DJ. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think we need to talk about the DJ, because I think that speaks to like the hypocrisy of it all and the
Mm-hmm.
layered nature of these characters. Like we said at the top, like Charlie and Emma on their way to the dinner at the start of the movie, they think they spot their DJ
Mm-hmm.
outside on the street smoking heroin or crack with a bunch of other people, and they didn't confirm 100% that it was her,
Mm-hmm.
but they are very quick to judge her. And just based off of this one action that doesn't even involve them, that doesn't even impact the quality of the music on their wedding night,
Mm-hmm.
they say, we're going to fire her. And that just, I think, shows a considerable lack of empathy for the DJ situation, and also the hypocrisy of them as well, too.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting thing too, because at first Emma is just kind of like, I don't know, like it doesn't really matter, right? Like, and then,
Mm-hmm.
but when they confront her at the wedding venue, it's Emma's the one who's more aggressive. It's kind of like she's
Yes.
it's like she's just sort of taking up Charlie's sort of cause here, and I guess she's sort of spiraling a little bit too because the walls are kind of closing in on her life at this moment, and she's just kind of lashing out. But there's hypocrisy there too, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
who gives, like, let's be real, who gives a fuck if your DJ smoked heroin?
Yeah.
Doesn't fucking matter, man. It's like, yeah, at the wedding, sure, that would be not cool, but
Yes.
on her own time, that's not your business.
Yeah. Who cares what she's doing on her own time? As long as you're sober at my wedding and playing my music, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I thought that was so interesting too. But I think the film in general, not related to DJ, but just related to the theme of empathy and judgment, I think the film is asking us to examine our capacity for empathy, right? Like, that's why they
Yes.
chose to write Emma's dark secret being that she was planning a school shooting, right? That, because especially in America, that is something that hits all of us very close to home, and it's a truly repulsive and, like, horrifying thing to do if you actually carry it out, and it's a horrifying thing to think about doing as well. So
Mm-hmm.
the movie's a test in a lot of ways. It's
Yes.
asking you, are you able to forgive this person? If someone in your life like trusted you with this revelation, because that is an act of trust. Sharing a secret like that is saying to someone, I trust you enough to reveal the most evil thing I've ever done. um,
Mm-hmm.
would you be able to handle it? And I think for a lot of people, the answer is no, straight up.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Yeah. I think it is challenging us to examine our own capacity for empathy.
Yeah.
You're right there.
You want to jump back to those creative choices you alluded to earlier?
Absolutely, I do. Because I think that this film, on top of being very layered and complex and thought provoking, is also very well planned with like the creative choices and the narrative structure. I really liked how the film kind of time jumps on
Mm-hmm.
occasion, and it's like not like a prolonged flashback or anything. It's like we're staying in Boston. We're staying in
Right.
this main
Mm-hmm.
timeline, this main storyline, but like it'll flash back to younger Emma in high school for a scene. Then we'll
Mm-hmm.
jump back to them having a conversation in their apartment, in their very spacious apartment too. Very nice apartment. I really
It's a
like the
nice
apartment.
apartment.
Yeah, it kind of kicked ass. When we were watching it, I was like, oh, they're in New York. How do they afford that? I'm like, wait, no, they're in Boston. What am I talking about? But I loved that we could like flash back to these scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like also those scenes of like Charlie's point of view, like especially in
Mm-hmm.
like the photography session. They're getting this photography um, going of just like this couple of photos shoot before the wedding to kind of warm up.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, think about all these happy moments, all these great moments from your relationship, your favorite things. Like, just think
Mm-hmm.
about that. And he's thinking about them. It's his point of view, but it's the younger Emma who's with him there. Kind of, it just kept turning into her teenage self. And I think those visuals really did a good job of illustrating his internal struggle of like trying to see her as the person she is now versus the person she was back then, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of this conflict within him. I thought that was really cool, and I really liked how it was just jumping around the place too with like the wedding scenes and some of those other moments too.
Yeah, the photography scene was so funny too. It just
Mm-hmm.
the like her trying to get them to smile and like act like they loved each other, and they're just in such a bad place that it cannot click.
Yeah, and it's dark comedy too of her just like, so then I'm gonna shoot your dad, and then I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Oh my
shoot your
god.
family, and I'm gonna shoot you guys. It's like, stop saying that word.
Yeah, and then it cuts to Pattinson. He's just like, hmm. And I loved the like quick cuts between Zendaya, Emma, and the younger um, performer who was playing her. I think to the it cuts like we're in Charlie's head a lot in these sequences. Like, we get quick cuts of the wedding and all the guests are
Hmm.
dead and bloody. Like, there was a shooting at the wedding. It's like, oh god, what if she's done, like, she thought about it before. What if this week's the time? What if it happens now?
Hmm.
Like thoughts that, because I mean, like, I guess we're giving Emma a lot of slack for her dark thoughts, but we've given Charlie some slack too, but we're not giving him as much slack for the sort of like mental struggles he's going through right now. It's like these, you know, he doesn't think about Emma this way, but he is having thoughts about her doing these things because his
Mm-hmm.
image of her was kind of shattered a little bit, and he's trying to piece
Yes.
it back together. And I think that sort of plays into why all these images are so like broken and quick flashes too. He's just like he's trying to make sense of the different pieces of this person he loves and put them back together in a way that, you know, remains her to him.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like I really like it kind of illustrates like that paranoia too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he's got that paranoia, but yeah, it's like these internal struggles. Like even Emma has that. Like the morning after the dinner, she's feeling incredibly alone. Charlie's not at the apartment. She's feeling
Mm-hmm.
self-conscious, and so we see kind of the inside of her mind where she's imagining this worst case scenario where Charlie's chatting with Mike and they're like, okay, gotta leave town. Don't even go back to the apartment. Just get on the first plane to England, get the hell out of the US.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and then he just shows up a moment later with coffee. And like, I think those creative decisions really help us as an audience better understand like the thought processes and the mindsets of our characters.
Yeah, and it speaks to like a type of anxiety that I think a lot of us deal with a lot of time. Like sometimes after like a big night out with people, especially if I've got like on the drunker side of things, I text someone the following morning and I don't hear back for a few hours, just
Mm-hmm.
probably because they're hungover and sleeping or something. But I'm like, oh God, what if they fucking hate me now? What if they're never gonna talk to me again? It's like I just get in my own head about that stuff. It's like no reason for that whatsoever. I like all of these people are very close
Mm-hmm.
friends of mine, and if they have a problem with me, they will reach out and tell me. But in that moment, you're
Right.
sitting there like where is like for her, it's like where is he? Or if you're waiting for that message, like why aren't they answering? What the fuck? What happened? What's going on? And nothing. It's nothing. Usually, it's nothing.
Right. Yeah. It's just your anxiety creeping up on you.
It's just your
Totally get
anxiety.
that.
Yeah. But I
But
want
yeah,
to talk about. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I
Oh.
think we were about to talk about the same thing, which is the wedding itself.
Yes, I want to talk about the wedding because this is just an incredibly stressful crescendo of all the story elements boiling over and creating a
Mm-hmm.
complete fucking disaster. It couldn't go more wrong, and it's so sad and so funny. It's,
Mm-hmm.
it's like oh my god,
Yeah.
like Emma's anxiety, and then her dad's speech about how like she got into like gun violence prevention activism, and it's like, oh yeah, that rifle it went missing around that time, didn't it? That's really crazy that happened. And then everybody is just like ah. and then and then Rachel's very mean speech, which ruins the vibes. Rachel sort of whispering around to people, or maybe she's not even doing that, and it's just Emma's anxiety making her
Yeah.
think she is. And then what's the coworkers? Misha and her partner showing up, and then the Emma being upset at Charlie about the drama essentially, but then Charlie thinking she's upset about him cheating with Misha, and he blurts that out, and then they bring Misha in, and
Mm-hmm.
and then Misha's partner finds out about that and headbutts Charlie. Charlie's speech is just him saying literally everything that Mike tells him to absolutely not say, but somehow
Right.
in an even worse way than he was gonna say before. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh, it gets bad.
we have great sex, and like even if you had killed someone, I would still love you. And everybody is just like,
Like, what is he talking about?
it's so awesome. It's amazing. It's so good.
It's the drama escalates, and it's a fantastic ending with that
Mhm.
wedding. It's what a train wreck. I'm sure the ceremony was fine, but yeah, the reception just gets worse and worse and worse and worse.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so good.
It's well, and it plays very nicely into the actual ending of the movie early on. Emma kind of like, it's like, oh, let's go to that like burger place, kind of like all the Hollywood A-listers do after the Oscars, where they go to In-N-Out.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Charlie goes there, just kind of, he's beaten the fuck up, he's miserable. He goes in there, he gets a burger. Emma walks in too. I love how they're wearing like regular coats over their wedding clothes, and then
Yeah.
they they get the like, they sort of give themselves the ability to do the thing they've been doing the whole film, and just like, oh, you want to start over, you want to try again. It's very sweet. I like it a
Mm-hmm.
lot. In
Me
a
too.
way, too, it kind of reminds me of the ending of that Black Mirror episode with Bryce Dallas Howard about the like 5-star like social score. You remember that one
Mm-hmm.
where like her score starts getting like, it falls and falls and falls, and then she ends up in the prison, and then just like starts laughing with some other guy, because at this point it's like, it all went to shit. Don't have anything to lose. I'll just live
Yeah.
normally now. I'll just like be. I can be myself. All the
Yeah.
cards are on the table. Where do we go from here? Kind of thing. I think it was a very nice ending to this absurd story.
I agree. I think it's a very sweet ending, and I just hope they stay together at the end of the day, because I like them as a couple.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they were good together, and I think the ending does kind of show like they're going to persevere and find a way through, and one day they'll laugh about it when they have better friends than Rachel and Mike.
Yep. All right. Any final thoughts on the drama?
No, let's switch over to our last segment for the episode, which is other media explorations, where we talk about things that we've been reading, watching, playing, exploring. Dylan, what have you been up to since our last episode?
Quite carrying on with quite a bit of things. So Invincible season 4, obviously still watching that. I am up to date. So I have one more episode left. I think you're a little bit behind.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do a full episode on that next. I think that's the next thing we're talking about. But
Yes.
like high level thoughts, and we can go back and forth. But like I like Invincible a lot. My biggest problems with it are the animation needs, they need a bigger team, or they need more time.
Agreed.
Something. It's just it's kind of bare bones, and it's upsetting. Nolan is the best fucking character in the whole show. He's so interesting.
Yeah, he's
But
great.
my main issue, and I told you this before we recorded, but it's like, I no longer know what emotion I'm supposed to feel when a character looks like they're dead, because
Right. They just
it's
heal.
they just, but sometimes they don't. And like, do we want to do a quick spoiler for this season? I guess like, or do we save it? We'll save it for next episode.
Let's save it.
But it's like a character who looks extremely dead isn't, and another
Mhm.
character who is more powerful dies. Why?
Yeah. Right?
I don't know.
It's so weird.
But like, the writing is great, the voice acting is great, the animation can be great. Like I saw some clips of season 1 again recently, and it's like, Amazon, you are one of the biggest companies in the world. Give them the funding they need.
More money, please. Give
More
them
money, more money, and more time. Carrying on though, like, I'm also watching Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, carrying on with that in season 2. For All Mankind season 5, I started. I need to get back to it. I forgot it was out. Just because there's so much going on. But like, we're in, I think, pretty much close to modern times. I think we're in the 2010s now, which is fun. Like, the show has gone all the way from the 50s up until like
Mm-hmm.
the 2010s. Joel Kinnaman's character Ed is like an old ass grandpa now. He's got like tons of old man makeup on him. It's really funny.
Cool.
Yeah, and there's like a whole, city on Mars at this point. Last season they just had like the Mars base, but now there's like a full colony up there. And
That's cool.
from the trailer, it seems like there's maybe going to be some conflict between Earth and Mars, which I think is an interesting new direction for the show to go in. Um, Also, The Boys season 5. I am up to date on what has come out so far. I think that's 3 episodes. Like people are. I guess people have been like mixed on The Boys for a little bit. Some people have, but I like it as much as I ever have. I don't have a problem with The
Hmm.
Boys. I think like the main joke people always make of it is like, oh, every season it's like, wait, we gotta go kill Homelander, and it's like, yeah, that was terrible. I can do that accent better. I'm just not trying. um, for the record, eventually in the boys episode, I'll try it again, maybe. But it's like, yeah, why do you want him to have killed Homelander by now? He's one of the most interesting characters on the show, and he's the main villain. He's gonna keep amassing power until the end, and
Hmm.
they're probably gonna kill him this season. I would imagine, or something.
We'll
Um,
see. Yeah,
yeah,
hope
but
so.
it's a good. I think it's a good show. I'm glad it's ending. To be fair, I think
Yeah,
we've talked about
me
this
too.
ad nauseum that like shows and movies need to have a satisfying ending, otherwise you become The Walking Dead. Um, but I finished Brandon Sanderson's Isles of the Emberdark. Overall, I liked it. It was a fun
Nice.
book. I'm taking a little bit of a break from reading Sanderson stuff for a while though, because I've just like absorbed so much of his writing style into my brain, and his prose is considered like one of the weakest elements of his work. So I'm like, I want to read some different stuff. So I'm reading Patrick
Yeah.
Rothfuss's The Name of the Wind. I'm about
Mm.
70 pages in. I really like it so far, man. It's so cool. It consistently makes like top 10, top 20 list of fantasy books, at least modern fantasy. And so far, it's like we're following this like guy. He's an innkeeper now, but he clearly has done a lot of stuff beforehand. Um,
Yeah.
Killed someone important. I'm guessing a king, because the franchise is called the King Killer Chronicles. But there's this other like storyteller who's been looking for him and finds him, and I've gotten just to the point where they're meeting, and Koth, I think is how you say his name, is like beginning to recount his life story of how he ended up where he is now. So it's really interesting. I'm excited to keep reading it. Again, I'm like 70 pages in. It's a 700-page book, so I'm barely getting started.
Yeah.
Um,
Cool.
and
I'm
then
into it.
Outer Worlds 2, carrying on with that fun game. Like the story, like the writing, it's very funny. But yeah, what about you, Niles? What have you been engaging with?
Yeah. So I've been slowly watching Invincible. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. So I'll save a lot of my thoughts for the episode there.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you on a lot of your points that you already said on it too. Animation needs to be a little better, but I know everything that's coming, so it's
You say that every year. It's so funny.
it's so good because I'm like, I know what's coming, so I'm interested to see other people's reactions to it, like Conquest and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
Thrag. But it's so fun.
Okay, they did do a really great joke with Conquest in this
Oh
season.
yeah.
I don't know if you're up to the point. It's in one of the
Oh
post
yes,
credit
yes,
scenes.
yes. I did.
I got a real chuckle out of me, because I we'll talk about specifically what it is in the episode, but it looked like something was gonna happen, and I was so annoyed. I was like,
Yeah, me
I was like,
too.
you have got to be fucking kidding me. And then the punchline of that joke, just, it was perfect. It was great.
Yeah, it's so
So
good. I'm so
self-aware.
glad. Yeah, they're very smart, the writers and creators of the show. They know what they're
Mm.
doing. But yeah, we've been continuing on with our Mad Men rewatch. We're almost done with season 2, and yeah, I gotta say that the show is, it's not like one of those shows that you can just kind of put on in the background or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be paying attention. It's like The Wire or something else like that, where it's like you need to be paying attention, watching the screen at all moments, because there's lots of information coming at you all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when I first watched the show, I was not aware enough of like all the symbols, all
Mm.
like the analogies. Like it's the writers of the show did a very good job with even like on like a single episode arc,
Mm-hmm.
inserting some great like symbols and just like underlying messaging
Mm-hmm.
that's just really powerful, and I think illustrates some really fascinating things with the characters, how they're like growing and changing, and or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very smart show. Really happy to be rewatching it. And last thing I will say, I don't think I mentioned it before, but I've been reading this book called Asada by Asada Shakur. It's an autobiography of
Mm-hmm.
her, and she's actually passed away just about a year ago.
Okay.
But it's her own story of, yeah, just her life, which is an autobiography. But she is kind of like this Black Panther from like the 70s, and was
Mm-hmm.
very involved with like civil rights.
Okay.
She got into this altercation uh, with some of her friends where she got shot a few times, but also they ended up shooting and killing a state trooper
Mm.
and maiming another. And the whole story is really just about like her journey through kind of the judicial system.
Mm.
And I'm still learning all the details of the case and everything like that, but she got convicted in like
Mm-hmm.
the 80s, or something like that, of like first degree murder.
Yeah.
But then she got, they did a jailbreak with the Black Panthers. They broke her out of jail,
Uh-huh.
and she became a fugitive and escaped to Cuba, and that's where she lived out the rest of her days, which is pretty cool,
That is
honestly.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I need to learn more about her, but it's a very fascinating read, and it's a different perspective too, which
Mm-hmm.
is, um, something that I'm not always like open to exploring, or like that I push myself to explore. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just like her conversations that she's detailing in the book while she's in the hospital with these like recovering from her bullet wounds, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
the cops won't let like anybody visit her. They won't let her lawyer in. They won't let anybody in, and they just won't stop interrogating her, even though
Yeah.
she's like clearly barely there. And
Mm-hmm.
it just like feels like she has been or was very abused by
Yeah.
the judicial system. So I'm eager to learn more and
Mm-hmm.
finish the book, because it is interesting. It's a very interesting perspective for me.
That is very interesting. I'd be interested to read that. And just since you mentioned Cuba too, obviously, like, hearts out to the people of Cuba. They're going through a lot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Subjected to the violence of our dipshit country. But I mean, for American people who don't know this, Cuba has both a higher literacy rate and a higher life expectancy than the United States of America. The
Wow,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that puts it in perspective.
Yes, it is a communist country that has had the American boot on their throat for decades, and they have accomplished all that. And they made a lung cancer vaccine in the 1990s. I don't know, something to think about.
Jeez. Well, I think that's a good place to end it for today.
Yes, it is.
But thank you all for
uh,
listening so much. We really appreciate all of you listeners. And if you like the show, please share with a friend or leave us a review. That helps out.
mhm.
And we love making these episodes. We hope you enjoy listening to them.
Yes. Until our next episode, Niles, where can people find you online?
You can follow me on Instagram at Niles Got No Styles. What about you, Dylan? Where can people follow you online?
On Instagram at DylanD1026, on Twitter at D-Day Movies, on YouTube at D-Day Movies, and you can find both of us here at Play Pause Rewind and our second channel, Play Pause Rewind Videos. I guess a small sort of announcement. We have, for the past 3 years or 4 years, I don't know, the 3 previous years, other than this one, we have done
Something like
a
that, yeah.
May the 4th special for Star Wars. We've
Mm-hmm.
done a big deep dive into each of the mainline trilogies, and we were gonna do like a fun different thing this year, but we forgot, and
Time.
and it's in 2 weeks. So no May the 4th thing this year, at least not at this point. Those take a really long time to make, and
Mm-hmm.
the main ones are done. We did the trilogies. Like,
Yes.
if you want something to watch on May the 4th, we'll like repost those on social media. I think all three
Yeah.
are like, I'm really proud of all three of those videos. Honestly, we got one of our friends to even like we commissioned her to make a custom piece of art that we used in two of them. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
I like if you love Star Wars, definitely give those a watch because those encompass a lot of our thoughts on Star Wars over the lifetime of our show.
Oh
But
yeah, they do.
yeah, but I think that's gonna do it for us this time. We'll see you guys next, uh, next go around for Invincible season 4. Until then, have a good one. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.